Hello, welcome to today's class. In this video, we are going to be talking about the yes, no, not given question type in IELTS reading. And as usual, at the end of this video, you'd have an exercise to attempt on your own. So I suggest you stay to the end to see if you're able to apply everything that I'm going to be teaching you in this video and get all your answers correct. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button right now so that you don't forget. Also turn on the notification bell so that you are reminded, or you are notified rather, whenever I post another video. That being said, let's go straight into this video. So, objectives is to help you understand the difference between yes, no, and not given. Learn tips to identify each type accurately, and develop strategies to approach these questions efficiently. Now, some common confusions, okay? Yes versus not given. First of all, yes means that the statement in the question agrees with the opinion of the writer in the passage. Okay? So, it means the same thing. That's when you pick yes. No means that it is contradictory to what you can find in the text. Not given means you cannot find this anywhere in the text. So, yes versus not given, don't assume the answer is yes if it seems possible. Look for clear evidence. This is very important. I have made a video already on the true, false, not given question type. It's quite similar to yes, no, not given, but it's not exactly the same, which is why I'm making a separate video for this. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it as well, because a lot of things that I taught on that video, you can also apply them here. Okay? So you should have a clear evidence from the passage before you pick your answer as yes. Don't just say yes because it seems possible. Okay? I gave a very good example when I was explaining true, false, not given, which you would see when you watch the video. But let me think of something else right now. He can wake up at 6 a.m. if he sets an alarm. So you know this is very possible, obviously. When you set an alarm, you wake up, right? This does it. So just by reading the question or the statement in the question which says he can wake up, or according to the writer, he can wake up by 6 a.m. if he sets an alarm. You don't just say the answer is yes because it makes sense to you, because it's possible, because the statement seems possible. You go ahead and pick yes. Your answer must be based on the passage, because you might go to the passage and realize that actually the writer said that even if he sets an alarm, it's impossible for him to wake up at 6 a.m. That would make the answer no. I don't know if you understand. Make sure that you have evidence from the passage before you pick yes. So if you don't have that evidence, the answer is not given. Or if the evidence is contradictory to what you just read, then the answer is no. Now, no versus not given. Be careful not to choose no just because you don't find the exact wording. It must directly contradict the text. Some people might run and pick no just because they cannot find the exact words in the question in the passage. That's not how it works. Okay? It's not about the question and the words in the question. It's about the meaning. Please, as I'm teaching this class, I know that I said a lot of this in the other video. So please make sure you watch it. It's about matching meanings, not words. So make sure that you are finding something in the passage that directly contradicts the statement in the question before you say your answer is no. Not just because you can't find those words in the question, in the passage, you can't find the words in the question in the passage, you can't find the exact words in the question in the passage, you pick no. You are not matching words, you're matching meanings. This is very important. So you need to know when to pick not given. Okay, not given is that you understand this question and you cannot find even a paraphrased version of this statement in the question. That information is not there. That's the only time you confidently go for not given. I hope this is very clear. Because people are so scared of true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given questions, but they are not difficult. I find them rather interesting, because it's just that you have to be paying attention. You have to pay attention. You can't be doing anything IELTS and you're absent-minded, or you have a movie on by the side and it doesn't work that way. You have to be focused. As long as you're focused, you'll be able to be sure. You'll be able to ascertain whether an answer is this or that. And you'd be confident. You'd know why you're correct and why the other options are wrong. All right? All right. Now, some tips for yes, no, not given questions. Ensure you are answering yes, no, not given, not true, false, not given. So these are two different question types. Similar, yes, but not the same. So if it's a yes, no, not given question type, make sure that you're writing yes or no and not given. And if it's a true, false, not given question type, make sure you're writing true or false or not given. Read carefully. The questions often paraphrase the text. So focus on meaning rather than exact words. I literally just finished talking about this, right? You're not matching words, you're matching meanings. So as you're reading when you read the question and you're then reading the passage, you're not looking for the exact words in the question. You are looking for synonyms or paraphrase of the question. Okay? This is very important. Look for evidence. That's the next tip. I always talk about evidence. If the information isn't clearly supported or contradicted, it's likely not given. So the information must be clearly supported, in which case you then pick yes. Clearly supported means you can literally say in paragraph this like this is why the answer is yes, because it is supported. You can find the same meaning in the passage as what you have in the question, or contradicted. In that case, the answer will be no. So you can find a contradictory statement to the one in the question. So it's clashing, it's contradictory, it's opposite. Yes, they are talking about the same thing, but a vital information is not the same. If vital information is off, it might be something as little as the passage says some, while the question says every. That's enough contradiction for your answer to be no. Okay, so it's not saying the exact same thing, then it's no. But if you cannot find any clear supporting statement or contradictory statement from the passage, your answer is likely not given, because that means it's most likely not in the passage. So instead of spending a lot of time, so if you're really unsure or you're not sure, like, don't spend too much time trying to figure things out, because you don't have a lot of time. If you're really, really unsure, or you can't find a supporting, you can neither find the supporting or contradictory statement, just go for not giving, okay? That's the safest thing to do, so that you don't waste all your time looking for something that is not even there. Be objective. Don't use outside knowledge. Base your answers only on the passage, okay? I've already mentioned this in this class. Even if the question is about medicine and you're a nurse, don't just read the question and you're busy marking true, false, based on whatever you've learned from school. Even if you know that, yes, the human blood is red, for example. Obviously, yes, we all know this. We've all had cuts or injuries and the blood came out and it's red. And you're a nursing student or you're a nurse and you have, even children know that blood is red, right? The human blood is red. But still, that's not enough for you to pick true. If you're practicing IELTS or you're in the IELTS hall and that is a question on that true, false, not given or yes, no, not given, the human blood is red in color. Don't just run and pick true or yes. Please make sure you can find evidence in the passage. That's what I'm saying, right? I know that this is a very factual and very obvious example, but I'm just trying to, you know, explain to you that no matter how obvious an answer seems, base your answer only on the passage. Very important, okay? All right, next slide. Some more tips. Practice with timed tests. Um, of course, at first, if you're very new to the whole IELTS thing, I would suggest you just try to understand all these question types by going through the videos we post on this channel carefully and attempting the exercises at the end. Go through the question types, understand what's expected of you, how to get your answers. So while you're still doing this, you can just not worry about putting yourself under exam conditions at that time so that you don't end up feeling a lot and you get discouraged. Just figure these things out first, understand them at your own pace. But at some point, you must start practicing under exam conditions. It's a must. If you ever make the mistake of not making sure you can finish your complete reading test within 1 hour before you get to the exam hall, you would not finish in the hall. Unless maybe you're a prolific reader and you read a lot and your brain is used to processing such information. That's for, you're lucky. But generally, do not ever go to the hall if you've not gotten used to finishing the reading test within 1 hour. Okay? That's the only time you will get used to the speed at which you need to work. Because it's not just about getting your answers correctly, it's about getting your answers correctly within the time limits. Okay? So practice with timed tests, simulate exam conditions. Review your mistakes. Go back to understand why you got certain answers wrong. I always say this, and even in my class, I always make sure that my clients attempt their corrections first before I even try to explain anything. You have to go back to the passage or to the recording, depending on what you're doing, to try and understand, to try and figure out on your own what made you fail that answer. Because most times that's all you need to for something to click, for the light bulb experience, for you to realize that, oh, this is actually what I've been missing all this while. And you might not even get that if someone else explains it to you. So always make sure you review your mistakes. Don't just finish, you score yourself, okay, I scored 30/40, on to the next practice test. You don't still figure out why you failed those 10. More often than not, you're going to keep failing questions because of the same mistakes you've been making, and because you don't go back to just figure that out once and for all, you would keep failing questions. So always make sure that you go back and attempt the corrections. Make sure you figure out why you failed something so that you don't keep failing for that same reason. Use IELTS specific materials. Stick to official or high quality IELTS resources to practice. This is very important. Okay, I see a lot of things online and I'm just sure that these are not authentic practice materials. Okay, look out for Cambridge practice materials, look out for the Cambridge books, use them to practice. That's number one for me. Every other one can come after. But Cambridge books are, I think they are up to 19 now. So that's a lot of practice already. There's no how you go through all the Cambridge books and you're not ready for IELTS, right? So just stick to official or high quality IELTS resources for practice so that you don't practice some things you see on groups and all that. And then when you get to the hall, it feels more difficult. It's better that you practice difficult questions, real questions. And when you get to the hall, everything will now seem easier for you. The last one, improve paraphrasing skills. Familiarize yourself with paraphrasing techniques as they're often used in yes, no, not even questions. Paraphrasing is something that you'd always hear in anything else. So make sure that your vocabulary is good. Keep on improving your vocabulary. Make sure that you don't have any issues with understanding paraphrases. And with that, you should be okay. All right. So now let's look at the strategies for answering yes, no, not giving questions. Like I said, the strategies would be very similar to the ones I taught for the true, false, not giving question types because they're similar. All right. Step one, read the heading and instructions. Always read your headings, always read your instructions to know exactly what's expected of you and to just get a general idea of what the passage is going to be about. Number two, analyze the first question. Analyze the first question. So you read the first question carefully, taking note of key words in that question. Okay? Then step three, quickly read the next question. When I made the video for true, false, not given, I told you that for that question type, you read in twos. And it's the same here. You read the question in pairs. So if you read the first one, which is the one you're on, also have an idea what the next question is talking about. And I explained that it is because of the not given option. What do I mean? Imagine you're number one, but that number one is designed to be not given. That's the correct answer. Obviously, you don't know that yet, but not given is the answer to number one, but you don't know that yet, right? Not given means that that information is not in the passage. You would have to read the whole passage from start to finish before you realize that the answer is not given. And you would have wasted valuable time. Now, what can you do to make sure you do not waste your time? Is to have an idea what number two is about. When you have an idea of what number two is about, and then you start reading for number one, you would get to number two at some point because true, false, not giving questions and yes, no, not giving questions come in order, just like most of the question types in IELTS reading. This means that you are not going to see number two answer before you see number one. Okay, it's the other way around. You must see one and then two and then three, and it keeps going down that way. So that means that when you start reading for number one, keeping number one in mind, but you have an idea of what number two is about, by the time you get to number two, once you see the area that contains the keywords in number two, that would be the point at which you decide and you know that number one is not given. You wouldn't have to read the whole passage before realizing number one is not there. I hope you understand. Because any strategy you're using in IELTS should not just be a strategy that can help you get to answer. There are lots of strategies that can help you get to answers eventually, but would not save time. So any strategy you should go for should do these two things. Help you get your answer, number one, your correct answer, and save time. So this strategy of reading these two question types in pairs is very helpful. Like, I have seen it work. This is what works for me. This is what works for my clients. All right. So read the first question, analyze it, take note of keywords in it. Good. That's the one you're on. But also read the next question. Maybe not as carefully as the first one, but just have an idea of the main point, the key words in that second question. So that while you're looking for the first one, if you come across the second one, you'd know and you'd stop reading at that point and make up your mind for number one. I hope this makes sense. So those are the first three steps. Read headings and instructions, analyze first question by underlining keywords in them. Then number three, read the next question to have an idea of what it's about and keep it in mind. Then you go to the passage. So I see people that want to attempt IELTS reading and they just jump into reading the passage, and it's just a very, very bad, wrong move. Don't read your passage first because, like I said, strategy should help you get the correct answer and save time. So to save time, you must read your question first so that when you start reading, you know what you're reading for. You know what you're looking for, okay? All right, so it's in step 4, you then go to your passage and start reading, okay? Now, step 5, Let's say you now get to a place that you think is an evidence for an evidence that either supports or contradicts an answer. What should you then do? Go back to the question and compare the statements again. Read the question again, read that statement in the passage again to just be sure. Okay? Be sure if it agrees or contradicts, then go ahead and choose your answer and write it down as yes or no or not given. Okay, I think this is a typographical error. It says as true, false, or not given. Sorry, it's yes, no, or not given because that's what we're doing right now. Okay? Then you repeat this process, repeat all these steps for subsequent questions. Do you understand? So that is how you attempt a yes, no, not given question type. Now, of course, as usual, we're going to look at a practical example, right? Practical example, so that you see what I'm trying to say. All right? So this is the passage. The heading says, the case for mixed ability classes. The case for mixed ability classes. All right? You've read your heading, you go and look at the question. Okay, you realize it's a yes, no, not giving question type. And what are you supposed to do here? You pick yes if the statement agrees with the views of the writer. Okay, this is actually the key difference between yes, no, not giving and true, false, not giving. True, false, not giving has to do with facts, factual information from the passage. It's about facts from the passage. But yes, no, not giving have to do with the view or the opinion of the writer, what the writer thinks or says about something, the writer's views, the writer's opinions. Unlike true, false, not given, that has to do with factual information from the passage. But either way, your answer must be based on information from the passage and you must have your evidence. Okay? All right. Now, you have 36 to 40. That's about 5 questions. Also notice that these are the last 5 questions for the reading test. So this means that you had about one or two other question types before this one, all based on the passage. Okay? So it's safe to say that had it been you were actually attempting this whole passage with all the question types under it, you would have already attempted, let's see, you would have already attempted, okay, look at the instruction here. Under reading passage 3, it says you should spend about 20 minutes on questions 27 to 40. So you have questions from question 27 to 40 would all be based on this one passage, okay? So that means from 27 to 35 were other question types. But the last question type on this passage is now this one, which is yes, no, not given. So under normal conditions, you would have already had a chance to read this passage because you've already answered 27 to 35. I don't know if you're following. I only brought out this one, this last part, because the focus of this video is yes, no, not even questions. Okay? That's by the way. Now, let's start. Number 36. All right? Let's try to take note of keywords. All right. The Vygotsky, pardon my pronunciation, the Vygotsky model. So first of all, keywords. This particular question is about this model, okay, of education supports the concepts of mixed ability class. Okay? So this particular model, the statement is saying that it supports the concept of mixed ability class. We are going to have to go to the passage to find out whether this is true or false. Okay, or it's not there. All right. Now, I said, then you go ahead to keep an eye on the next question, right? Which is number 37. Some teachers are certain about allowing students, are uncertain. You see what happened there? My brain read the word as uncertain. That can definitely make me fail this answer. So pay attention, okay? Because certain and uncertain are opposites. Some teachers are uncertain about allowing students to take on MKO roles in the classroom. Okay? All right. So now, let us go back to the passage and look for the keywords. We'll scan quickly for the keywords in these questions. But the one we are focused on right now is the first one, number 36, which is talking about this Vygotsky model. All right, so that's what we're looking out for. Also, this is the last question type in this test, like I said. So most likely the answers should be towards the end, but we're going to just quickly scan and see what you can find. Okay, just at first glance, I can already see MKO on the right side. That's the second part of this, the second page, page 71. I can already see MKO, but then that is not the question we are on. So you look again carefully. We're looking for that name. Okay. Now it's on the first page, page 70, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Paragraph 6, where you have first mention of ZPD in brackets. Okay? All right. Now we found the area. Let's go back again to revise the question. So the Vygotsky model of education supports the concept of mixed ability class. So let's read that paragraph 6. The current pedagogical paradigm is arguably that of constructivism, which emerged out of the work of psychologist Lev Vygotsky. In the 1930s, he emphasized the importance of targeting a student's specific zone of proximal development, ZPD. So in that year, he emphasized the importance of targeting a student's specific ZDP, which is zone of proximal development. This is the gap between what they can achieve only with support, that is teachers, textbooks, worked examples, parents, and so on, and what they can achieve independently. The purpose of teaching is to provide and then gradually remove this scaffolding until they are autonomous. If you accept this model, it follows that streaming students with similar ZPDs would be an efficient and effective solution, and that forcing everyone on the same hike, regardless of aptitude, would be madness. So if you're attempting this on your own, or if you're in the hall, you wouldn't read this slow. Okay, I'm only trying to read slowly so that you can follow, because you're still learning, like I said. But at some point, you must force yourself to think faster, read faster, and work with time. Simulate real exam conditions to see your real ability. Okay? So from what I read in this paragraph, this person obviously does not support having every single child with different abilities in the same class, right? Because he started by saying that he talked about, first of all, measuring or targeting every student's ZDP, which is zone of proximal development, right? Then when you target it, you then put them in according to their own levels, because that's what he says. It says the purpose of teaching is to provide and then gradually remove this scaffolding until they are autonomous. If we accept this model, it follows that streaming students with similar ZDPs will be an efficient and effective solution. So putting students together that have similar ZDPs, that have similar zones of proximal development, would be an effective solution. Whereas forcing everyone on the same hike, that's forcing everyone in the same class, regardless of aptitude, regardless of their ability, would be madness. So he does not support doing that. He'd rather group them according to their abilities. That is what the passage is saying. But going back to the question now, you realize that he says that his model of education supports the concept of mixed ability classes, and that is not true. It does not support it. I hope you're following. That means the answer to number 36 is what? No. 36 is no. Remember to write no on your answer sheet, not false. Okay? All right. Now we've answered the first one. We have 37, which says some teachers are uncertain about allowing students to take on MKO roles in the classroom. What should you do next? You should read number 38. Read number 38, because I said always keep an eye on the next question, okay? 38 says, it can be rewarding to teach knowledge which you have only recently acquired. It can be rewarding to teach knowledge which you have only recently acquired. Okay? Let's take note of keywords. So it can be rewarding to teach knowledge which you have only recently acquired. So just keep that in mind. 38 is talking about teaching knowledge that you recently acquired. That's enough, okay? You don't have to memorize it. The one you really need to try and memorize now is 37, because that's where we are at, which says that some teachers are uncertain. So they're not really sure about allowing students to take on MKO roles in classrooms. You have to go back to the passage to know what exactly that means, right? Okay. And from where we just stopped, if you check, that MKO is actually in paragraph, is first mentioned in paragraph. We just finished reading 6, so 7, 8, 9 in paragraph 9. That's on page 71. So I hope you can tell where I'm reading. Let me just mark it. Okay. So this is where we read. This is where we read for the answer we just got. Right? And now we are about to read from here, because this is where we have the keyword MKO, which is also in the question. Right? So I hope you are following. Okay. Now, and I hope you remember the question. It says that some teachers are uncertain about using MKO. While streaming might seem to help teachers effectively target a student's ZPD, it can underestimate the importance of peer-to-peer learning. That's students teaching each other. A crucial aspect of constructivist theory is the role of the MKO, which means more knowledgeable other, in knowledge construction. While teachers are traditionally the MKOs in classrooms, the value of knowledgeable student peers must not go unrecognized either. Okay? I find it amazing to watch students get over an idea to their peers in ways that I would never think of. They operate with different language tools and different social tools from teachers, and having just learned it themselves, they possess similar cognitive structures to their struggling classmates. There is also something exciting about passing on skills. Okay, at this point, you should stop because if you have the next question in mind, it's talking about teaching something that he only just learns, which is very similar to what we are just getting to right now. Are you following? At this point, you should stop. We kept on reading because, yes, they talked about MKOs, what it is all about, but I hadn't yet seen where they said that teachers are uncertain about using it. I don't know if you understand. They just explained the question of MKO and how important it is that students teach each other. But they did not say that some teachers are uncertain about using it. So I kept on reading. So it's either I eventually see it or I eventually start seeing the keywords from the next question. And that's how I know it's time to stop. And this number 37 we're on is not given because it's not there. They talked about teachers, yes. They also talked about MKO. That's why I always say don't match words. Because if you just look at this 37 now, yes, you can see the words teachers, you can see students, obviously, you can see MKO, you can see classroom. These are all words found in the passage. But does it make the answer yes? It doesn't. Because you're not supposed to be matching words. You're supposed to match the meaning of this sentence to the meaning in the passage. So this 37 is saying that some teachers are uncertain, they're unsure about allowing students to take on MKO roles. That's teaching, others. But the passage did not say that. It did not, this meaning now, this idea, this main point in this question is not found in the passage. Instead, at some point, I am now seeing keywords that have to do with number 38. So 37 is not given. It's not given. So I hope you understand. 37 is not in the passage. There is nowhere they said that teachers are not sure about using it. But if you make the mistake of matching just the words, you're going to end up picking yes because you can see MKO, you can see teachers. But that's not how you attempt this question type. So you have to pay attention. Okay? So now we've marked 37 as not given. Do you now understand why I say read it in pairs? The truth is, I wouldn't have known that 37 is not given. I would have kept on reading maybe until I get to the end before I realize that, okay, there's actually nowhere that they said some teachers are uncertain. Yes, I would end up getting the answer as not given. That's true. But I would have wasted valuable time. In that time, I would have been able to answer the rest of this question, 38 to 40. So strategy should help you get your answers correctly, but also save time. Okay? Good. So we've gotten 36 and 37. We are now on 38. So what do? We read 39 just in case. Okay? So let's look at 39 now. Let us look at 39. 39 says the priority should be to the ensure that the highest achieving students attain their goals. So this question is talking about the priority and how it should be that the highest achieving students actually attain their goals. But on 37, that 38 that says it can be rewarding, so it feels good to teach knowledge which you have only recently acquired. That's what we're reading for. So now we go back to the passage. Let's just start that paragraph afresh, okay? This paragraph that where I stopped. Let's just start this paragraph afresh so you can get a good understanding of what it is actually about. Okay? Now, I find it amazing to watch students get over an idea to their peers in ways that I would never think of. They operate with different language tools and different social tools from teachers, and having just learnt it themselves, they possess similar cognitive structures to their struggling classmates. There is also something exciting about passing on skills and knowledge that you yourself have just mastered. A certain pride and zeal, a certain freshness to the interaction between teacher and learner that is often lost by the experts for whom the steps are obvious and the joy of discovery forgotten. Yes. So it's just, yeah. Mm-hmm. The answer is yes. I hope you can see why. So there is something exciting about passing on skills, a certain pride and zeal, a certain freshness, it's rewarding. It feels rewarding to pass on knowledge that you yourself have just mastered, which is, they're all synonyms, but it's the same thing. Remember your matching meanings. The question says it's rewarding, so a certain joy, a certain this and that, to teach knowledge, to pass on knowledge or skill, which you have only recently acquired, which you yourself have only just mastered. So it's not the same words at all. It's very well paraphrased. Synonyms are used, but the meaning is the same. That is why your answer is true. Or rather, in this case, yes. So number 38 is what? Yes. Now, 39. The priority should be to ensure that the highest achieving students attain their goals. So that should be the priority. That's what the statement is saying, right? Okay. Now, what do we do next? We look at number 40. Okay, always keep the next question in mind. All right, we look at number 40. Okay, all right. So, taking part in collaborative outdoor activities with teachers and classmates can improve students' outcome in the classroom. Taking part in collaborative outdoor activities with teachers and students can improve students' outcome in the classroom. Okay, so almost everything in this one, these are all important words, okay? So, but for now, just keep it in mind, okay? Like I said, you don't have to memorize it yet because we're still on number 39. We just want to have an idea of what number 40 is saying, just in case. All right? Just in case 39 is not given, we know where to stop without wasting time. 39, the priority should be to ensure that the highest achieving students attain their goals. So now we go back to the passage to find out what this is about. Now, as you can see, we have just one paragraph to go. That means the answers to both 39 and 40 must come from this last paragraph. Okay, that's how it works because the questions always, or the questions or the answers always come in order, right? Okay, so let's read. Having a variety of different abilities in a collaborative learning environment provides valuable resources for helping students meet their learning needs. I hope you still remember the question, because I do. If you don't remember what you're looking for, you're just going to read and waste your time. The question is talking about the priority being the highest achieving students achieving their goals. Okay. Now you don't even have to memorize this verbatim, but at least you know that you have an idea of what you're looking for. Okay. So having a variety of different abilities in a collaborative learning environment provides valuable resources for helping students meet their learning needs, not to mention improving their communication and social skills. And today, more than ever, we need the many to flourish, not suffer at the expense of a few bright stars. And today, more than ever, we need the many to flourish. Today, more than ever, we need priority. The priority today, more than ever, is for the majority of people, as many people as possible, to flourish, not just a few bright stars. It's already looking like a contradiction, a clash, opposite of what the question is saying, right? Because the question said that the priority should be for the high achieving ones to achieve their goals. So we should focus on those bright stars. But the question is, the passage is saying that we need to focus on the many and not just a few bright stars. It is opposite. So the answer is no already. Okay? The answer is no. Now, finally, we go back to take a look at number 40 again, just to refresh our memory. Taking part in collaborative outdoor activities with teachers and classmates can improve students' outcome in the classroom. So they're trying to say that if we have outdoor activities, maybe like sports or games, where you have both your classmates and your teachers involved, this can improve the students' performance in class. So we're going to keep reading the rest of that paragraph to see if this is yes or no or not given. All right, we stopped at once a year, right? Once a year, I go on a hike with my class, a mixed bunch of students. Now, at this point, don't run and pick yes. Just because the person writing is a teacher and he has said he goes on a hike with his class. That's not the point. The point is that doing this will help the students do better in class. So you have to keep reading until you see that or not, or a contradictory statement. I don't know if you understand. Yes, this is an outdoor activity. Yes, with the teacher and classmates, but that's not all the question said. The question said that doing this can help them do better in class. So until you see the full meaning of that statement in the question in the passage, you don't speak your answer, okay? So once a year, I go on a hike with my class, a mixed bunch of students. It is challenging. Defeated students realize they need to encourage the reluctant. There are lookouts who report back and extra items to carry for others. We make it together. Do you notice that the answer is not given? Because the teacher just ended this whole passage by telling us about his experience whenever he goes hiking with his students. It's a class of mixed students with mixed abilities. So those ones that are, fitter realize that they need to encourage the reluctant ones. There are lookouts who report back and extra items to carry for others. So there are some that their role is just to look out and report some certain things. There are some that have to carry extra things to help their weaker friends. But he just ended by saying, we make it together. So they make it, they succeed on their hike together. He did not make any conclusion as to how this affects their performance in the classroom. He did not say after the hike they perform better in class, which would have made the answer yes. He did not say that after the class they still don't perform better in class, which would have made the answer no. He did not say anything about how this outdoor activity with students and teachers affects performance in class. But if you go back to the question, you'd see that it says taking part in collaborative outdoor activities with teachers and classmates can improve students' outcome in the classroom. The problem is that last part, can improve students' outcome in the classroom. We are not told that. So that is why number 40 would be not given. So I hope you see how it works. So I hope you can understand what I've been trying to say all along. Try to pay attention and just focus. Make sure that you're matching meanings, not just words. The reason people fail true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given question types is that they just keep matching words. Yes, I saw MKO in the question and it's in the passage too. Then it's true. Then it's yes. Oh, I did not see outcome. I did not see improve students' outcome in class. I did not see that phrase in the passage. So it must be no. That's not how you attempt this question type. So I really hope that you are able to understand what I'm trying to help you understand, because that's the only way you're going to make it for these two question types. Okay, so these are the answers: no, not giving; yes, no, and not giving. Okay, so now it's time for you to practice on your own. This is the passage. I'm going to have to remove this bubble that is showing my face so that you can see, because it seems to be blocking some parts of the passage. But the first thing you should do is read your heading and subheading. So if your passage has a subheading, read it as well, because it will help you to just be better prepared to understand what the passage is all about. Living with artificial intelligence. Okay, so AI, living with AI. That's the heading. Now, the subheading: powerful artificial intelligence, AI, needs to be reliably aligned with human values. So, powerful AI needs to be reliably aligned with human values. But does this mean AI will eventually have to police those values? So, heading and subheading, and then you don't start reading your passage first. Please, reading the passage is step 4, you remember. So, go to the next slide to complete the first step, because the first step is read your headings and instructions. So, when you go to the next slide, you realize that, okay, this is a yes, no, not giving question type. I'm supposed to pick yes or no or not giving. Step 1 complete. Step 2, you then read number 20 very carefully, analyzing it and taking note of keywords in number 20. Step 3, read number 21 and have an idea of what 21 is all about by taking note of the key words. Then you go back to the passage and start reading from number 20 while keeping 20 and 21 in mind. So it's just the same thing all over again. If you can master these strategies, I promise you, you wouldn't fail any single yes, no, not giving or true, false, not giving question ever again, unless you're not paying attention. Okay? So this is the end of the class, but I'm going to give you some time, about 5 minutes, to quickly answer these questions. Okay? Read carefully, read quickly, make sure that you are able to pick the correct answer and you have your evidences. Afterwards, the answers will be displayed and you can figure out the ones that you got wrong, if any. Then go back to the passage again to figure out why you failed them. Always, always, always review your mistakes. Please, very important. But if you still cannot understand why something is the answer, please let me know in the comment section and I'll get to it as soon as I can. If you've gotten to this point of the video, it means you are following, you're enjoying the video. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button. This would encourage me to make more videos like this and even better than this to help you with your IELTS preparation. Also, don't forget to like, feel free to comment, leave your questions, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. Okay? All right, so these are the answers. I hope you were able to get them. If not, make sure you go back to find out why. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.